A short update on the energies. September 9, 2014. By now, you will all in some way have perceived that your path is no longer the same as it was only a few steps back. And what do we mean by that? Simply that as you have stepped forth, you have also allowed the light to carry you even further. For with every step you have taken yourselves, the light has added considerable momentum to your trajectory, and as such, what once was, is no longer, and your future have been rewritten in ways that will bring many a project to conclusion while simultaneously bring many new ones into this world in a very literal way. For now, the road ahead is indeed a wide open one, and you will no longer have to contend with many of the obstacles that used to hamper your advance, and so, we would once again like to give you some pointers so as to better lighten up the immediate future for you all. You see, last weekend's endeavor did indeed more than speed up the proceedings, for as we have already told you, it also served to lance the old boil of infection that has hampered the progress of mankind for eons. And even if the final healing of this old and draining wound will take time, the release of it acted as fuel on your process in so many ways. For you have finally found a way to lubricate the wheels of fortune, and now you will begin to encounter a whole host of seemingly enigmatic pointers along the way. Some of them may seem to be familiar, and the direction they take you will also feel as if you have traversed these paths before, while others will come as if out of the blue in every sense of the word. You see, what has been set into action now can in so many ways be likened to that fabled domino being pushed over to make the whole elaborately designed sequence start to act out. So now, the chips will start to fall in a very defined and complex way, and even if some of them may seem to simply fall flat on their face, this is not the case. For again we say everything that happens, do so for a good reason, and yes, we do mean that in the strictest sense of the word. For your world will begin to change rapidly now, and in sequence after sequence, so much will be acted out that together form the final unveiling of what has been hidden for eons. For what you have held to come about is already existing beneath this superficial layer of increasingly denser material, and now, the new will begin to emerge at an ever-increasing speed. And so, as the light seemed to make the darkness accumulate in ever thicker layers in some corners of the world, it will also begin to dissolve that same layer faster than you perhaps would think possible. We know that these words will be met by disbelief by many, but again, mankind has a way of looking at things that is very limited at best, and downright crippling at worst, and so, even if the signals of an impending dawn are becoming ever louder amongst you, there will still be those crying foul at every single step of the way. For to them, the single layer of inequality and fundamental fear, fueled by the small pockets of darkness that still exists on this planet, will appear far too powerful for any light to penetrate. And so, they will continue to shout out their conviction of doom, gloom, and destruction. Well, let them, we say, for they will only serve to inflate that old balloon to the stage where it simply implodes on itself, for all they can contribute at this stage is another puff of hot air that will not serve to manifest anything but more of the same wispy strands of foul-smelling gases, and that will be no match for the formidable advances that you will begin to manifest at an ever-increasing rate. And so we say, step back from the hue and cry being acted out in your presence, for it is merely a desperate show of ineptitude, and even if it is designed to look like more than a formidable foe to the light, it is all play acting of the worst kind. We know that this will be an old and worn advice to some of you, but again, it bears repeating, for everything that has gone before has shown just what these forces of the diminishing army of darkness will manufacture at every sign of an impending acceleration of the light. For they will simply turn their own screw on the garroting device one more time, trying to choke off the last remnants of air to humanity's abilities to think clearly. But for you, this will not be a hindrance, for you have learned to switch off the buttons that these forces of the netherworld will try to push, and so you will always see this for what it truly is, desperate attempts to reconquer what they lost a long time ago, namely the hearts of the enlightened ones like you. And now, you are more than legion, you are an invincible army of light-footed and fleet-footed beings, unhampered by that old baggage you were so bogged down by in times gone by, and now, you have literally taken to the wings again, and the uplift you gained by the last day's tremendous breakthrough will help to lift you even further out of the grasp of the fearmonger's clawing hands. So again we say, rest assured in the knowledge that all is well, but do not let yourself be surprised by any event that may manifest in the time ahead, whether it can be classified as good or bad, according to a human's standpoint. For everything that happens now, will speed the progress of light on this planet, and as we have already told you, even if this old infected wound is not completely healed yet, the capacity it had to pollute larger regions of this world with its deadening poison is greatly diminished already. And so we say step ahead with full confidence, no matter where the road ahead will lead you. For you will all be taken on a ride that will indeed outsmart even your most lofty expectations. And when we say outsmart, it is not to suggest that you will be tricked in any way, this is just to imply that the design behind all of this is far too complex and indeed advanced for the human part of you to understand just yet, but deep down you will simply know what it is we are referring to. After all, you are beings capable of unimaginable feats, that is, at least to a human, but for you, this will simply come as natural to each and every one of you. For you are not novices in this, you are old hands at changing worlds, so nothing that will happen on this journey will be able to stop you at this stage. For now, you have decided whether or not to be 100% committed to yourself and to this cause, and it would not be a surprise to any of us if this is also what will begin to literally dawn on each and every one of you in the very near future. You see, you will truly begin to see the real you, the one that came here to accomplish what so many only a few short months ago would describe as implausible to say the least, but now, you will all find a way to go all the way into your very core and verify the fact that you are here for one thing only, namely to finally fulfill the quest that sent you to this planet a long, long time ago. And now, as you have built your foundation on these shores lifetime after lifetime, piece after vital piece, you can finally stand upright on that solid base and reach up to your full height for the very first time. And when you do, we venture to guess you will all feel a little bit affected by the dizzying heights you will find yourself at, and rightly so. For it will feel more than a little bit remote from the old version of you, the one that stood one step higher up than the rest of your fellow men, still content with rooting around in the dusky layers of yesterday. But now, when you start to unfold yourself to your own majestic height, you will need time to acclimatize yourself. So again we say take some time to truly savor this process, for it will be like nothing no one has ever experienced before, not on these shores, nor beyond, and know that this is a task that many would give everything they had to experience themselves. But you are the ones who have been given the task of accomplishing this amazing feat, not because you were the lucky ones, but because you were the ones we all knew without a shadow of a doubt could accomplish this without so much as a moment's hesitation. This does not mean that the human part of you will not stop and ponder whether or not to take that last and final jump into greatness, for you all still carry enough of the old imprints to still be able to hear that voice inside telling you just how unable or unworthy you are of accomplishing such a feat. But be that as it may, we venture to guess that this old and insistent voice will not be able to stop the real you from stepping out from those former shadows, and then, there will be no more hesitation anymore. For then, all of your being will propel you forwards at such a speed, all the old self-imposed limitations will simply blow away like cobwebs in a mighty storm. So again we say do not allow yourself to step back when all you have to do is to let this huge river of light carry you forward in the manner and at the speed that will help you to attain every single goal you set, before you even came here in the first place. And know that this river of light will never drag you under, it will simply continue to push you forwards and buoy your progress in any way it can, until you are strong enough and tall enough to find purchase under your feet, so that you can unfold yourself to your full height and wade ahead in this never-ending stream of loving light that will continue to serve all the needs you will ever have, so that you in turn can continue to serve the light to the rest of this planet. The Constant Companions. Channeled by Asia North. asianorth.wordpress.com